Would you believe me if I told you that Jonathan Edwards, John Wesley were both in their 30s when this Bible was printed, and George Whitefield was in his 20s? Hi, my name is Scott Ritchie from BibleBulldog.com. Let's talk antique Bibles. When I got this Bible, it was in pretty bad shape. It was very dried out, especially the spine. The spine was very, very fragile. So when I first opened it up, it was just hanging by like one cord left on the spine. So what I had to do, a lot of people will tell you, don't repair a Bible, don't fix it because it affects the value. Well, to me, Bibles are meant to be read. And if you can't read it, it's not much good just sitting on the shelf. So when possible, I always repair my Bibles and try to get them in the hands of someone that's going to read them. So what I did is replace the spine with some matching leather. Now, if you look there, you can see like it's torn. And it actually has been, but that is all intact, attached securely. I had to take the old spine off, put a brand new leather spine on with what we call an Oxford hollow, which gives this thing a little, you can see the way it drops down there. That takes the pressure off the spine. That's the major cause of spine issues with the old Bibles. So I put new leather on it, new reinforcements. You can see I put new headbands on it. Unfortunately, the old headbands, which were absolutely beautiful, they were just too dry. I couldn't save those at all. I wish I was able to do that. But what Bibles? This particular Bible is a complete Bible. It contains at the front the Book of Common Prayer. Now this happens to be missing the title page of the Book of Common Prayer, but as you can see, the beautiful image there on the page, and how crisp and clean the pages are in this Bible. They're very readable. The first thing a collector always looks for is what we call the title page. The title page gives you the main information on the Bible. And of course, this is a title page for this particular Bible. And if you look down here, if I can see it, it tells you the date. Of course, the date's in Roman numerals they used back in those days. So MDCC XXXVI. If you break that down and translate it into modern day English, that is 1736. And this, of course, was printed by John Baskett. John Baskett, if you know anything about Bibles, Bible printings, John Baskett's famous for his so-called Vinegar Bible, or is also called Basket Full of Errors Bible, and that was printed in 1717. So this was hopefully this doesn't have too many errors in it. I'm sure it doesn't. Printing errors. There is no errors in the Word of God, but of course there are printing errors because we are all humans. But look at the crispness of this, and of course there's some spots, as you see here, through. If you were this old, you'd have a few spots on you as well, like I do. But as we continue to flip through here, this one, of course, is complete. And you see someone has pressed, like many people still do. I don't know how old that is. That could be a couple hundred years old. We'll put that aside so it's not damaged. But the pre-1700s is kind of a mixture. A lot of the Geneva Bibles do not have the Apocrypha. This particular Bible does have the Apocrypha, so it's considered a complete Bible. So if we keep flipping through this beautiful, beautiful Bible, we shall see. Something interesting I noticed about this particular Bible, I don't want to mess the pages up here, is that the older Bibles, they had indexes where it lists a table of, or I guess it's called the table of indexes. But after the Apocrypha, they bound the index in. Now, usually, what makes this unusual, this usually went at the back of the book, so you could find it easily. So you look up something that, you were looking to find. We got a few notes in here. It's always interesting to find the notes in there. So if you keep going on, after the index is, let me see if I can straighten this out a little bit. Here we see the New Testament title page, and it lists the same information, but if you look, it's kind of surprising. You see that this has a different date on it. This has 1735. Now, why would one have 1736 and one has 1735? Well, the reason is that back when they printed, it's not like how they printed books now. When they printed it, it immediately went to the bindery and it was bound together at pretty much with one right after the other. They would print these, of course, and they would print them in what we call signatures and set them aside, gather them up, and a lot of times they would sell these Bibles unbound, and you could take it to your favorite binder and have them bind your book the way that you wanted to. So a lot of times when they put these things together, they would grab an Old Testament from one pile and a New Testament from another pile that might have been printed a few months later, which had run into the new year. So that's the reason for the different dates. So as we flip on past, this also, again, has the whole book of Psalms. And look at this. Again, this time the date is not in Roman numerals. It's in regular numerals that we recognize. It says 1733. So this was gathered. The book of Psalms was printed in 1733, the New Testament in 1735, and the Old Testament was printed in 1736. One of the most interesting things to me is the family information in these Bibles. And here you have information on a Dalton family, which is very fascinating. So what I try to do is list all this information. When I put it up for sale, people can see it, and hopefully I can get it back in the hands of the family. One of the interesting things that you find in Bibles is, of course, different paperwork. Now, I'm not sure what this stuff is, so you're going to find out the same time I do. So this is an accountant certificate. Something about a penny points pool. And I was looking for a date. I don't see the date on there. Okay, 1938, so that's not that old. So that tells me somebody was using this Bible at least up to 1938. So that's interesting. That looks just like something that they use for a blotter, pen blotter. Some notes. Someone made on a piece of cardboard. It says, "Why am I discontented?" This is very interesting, I thought. It's greetings. It says it's from Graham and Charles. And look at this beautiful picture that, I'm not sure if that's yeah, I guess it is just an old photograph that was found in this Bible. But that's very interesting. This is a series of recommendations. What it is handwritten recommendations, or a copy. It says a copy of it. So I guess this Mrs. Dalton was seeking an appointment to some committee or something like that, and she went around getting testimonials for that. Now that's part of history. The date on these is 1876. So the Bible at that time was about 135 years old. So what a beautiful Bible this is. And what a privilege it is to repair something like this and to try to get it into the hands of the family who had it before, or the hands of someone that's going to read it and put it to good use. This is a good example of what we do here at BibleBulldog.com. We not only repair Bibles, but we seek Bibles that we can try to get in the hands of someone that will either read them or back into the hands of the family. So if you have a Bible that needs repairing, or if you have interest in old antique Bibles and would like to own a piece of his story, it's not history, it's his story. So thank you for watching. Visit BibleBulldog.com when you have a chance. And may God bless you as you strive to serve Him.